Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing all well. And I'm Dr. Rashmi, an associate professor at Race Reva University. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's Cloud Native Application Protection Platforms workshop. This workshop, which will run from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., is a 3-hour deep dive into CNAPP, where you'll gain hands-on experience and practical insights into implementing these platforms for cloud native security. And we are honored to have Professor Papa Rao leading the session today. Professor Rao, a distinguished mentor at RAISE, brings more than 24 years of experience across various domains, including AWS, Azure, GCP, OpenStack, and DevSecOps. His knowledge expands portal technologies like SharePoint, WebLogic, WebSphere, and WebCenter, and also on document management systems such as Documentum, FileNet, and BizTalk. He is also well versed in SOA 11G, WebSphere, Process Server, Commerce Server, and Identity and Access Management solutions like Microsoft Forefront, Oracle IAM, SiteMinder, and Tivoli IAM. In today's session, he'll be covering practical scenarios of CSPM, CWPP, CIEM, and IAC scanning. With such extensive experience in cloud native security, Professor Rao is the ideal guide for today's workshop, and we are excited to learn from his expertise. So before we begin, just few housekeeping instructions. So please keep your microphone on mute during the session to avoid any disruptions. And if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and speak, or you can type your queries in the chat box, and we'll address them during the Q&A. Once again, welcome to the CNAPP workshop. I'm sure this will be a highly engaging and informative session. Let's dive in. Over to you, Professor Paparao. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful introduction. Right. So, so good morning, all guys. So yeah, as Dr. Rashmi introduced, so about myself, I mainly work on the lot of the cloud native application designing, architecting, as well as cloud migrations or DevOps and DevSecOps enablement for the organizations. So I do a lot of consultation actually, as well as as a part of the training. Yes, I do a lot of I'm working closely with the RACE, and I handle the cloud architectural or the cloud related the modules in our RACE programs actually. So the today's program is CNAPP. So it's basically like understanding what is cloud native application, some of the insights actually, whether this word called as CNAPP, is it a buzzword or what kind of hype it is having, or when this word came into the picture earlier, how we were implementing the same security practices what we are seeing today in the CNAPP, and how the new tools are evolved actually. And we will be taking one of the cloud platform, one or two cloud platforms, and we'll try to inject our CNAPP security policies, and we'll try to see what best we can get out of these CNAPP solutions actually. Yes, Mrinal.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. If you don't mind, can you please share your screen and discuss?
Yeah.
We are not able to see, sir.
No, still I didn't share. I'm just introducing. That's the reason. Okay, good guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a program, guys. So the Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. So if any of you guys want to simultaneously, look into what I'm doing in the demo session, what I'll suggest you is you can always go to your Azure free trial subscription. We can work completely with the free trial. So you can quickly provision the free trial account, and you can start working. So I'll just give you the instructions before starting this one. So look at this one. So what you can do here is to quickly provision, right? First you create one a new Outlook account here. a new Outlook account, and then create Azure free trial subscription. Then we can enable the 30-day free trial for the Azure CNAPP solution, CNAPP solution, and you can even go try for the free AWS subscription also. You can keep it ready, and the free GCP subscription also you can keep it ready, and then the free Azure DevOps subscription also keep it ready. So these are all the prerequisites that you can keep it ready. Or once I complete the demo, you can always follow these instructions and keep this ready. I'll share my handouts as well as kind of a very good study guide from Microsoft about the CNAPP, and as well as the complete whatever is the lab infra that I'm going to use. I'll share you the hands-on labs that I created for the CNAPP actually. So these are all the things we will do it here. Fine. So let us try to understand first. We'll get into the topics here. So first we'll try to understand. See, it's called as Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. So it's called as a CNAPP. It's not it's a new, the hype that is created actually. But earlier, what we were calling this, or how this concept is evolved as such, first of all. Now, first let us try to understand first what is cloud native application, and then we'll get into what we can expect in any CNAPP solution. If you take what kind of the features that we can expect in any CNAPP solution actually. So first try to understand what is cloud native application, or we can call it as cloud native or modern. You can even call them as, in a generic terminology, we can call it as app modernization, application modernization, understand? Or we can call it as a cloud native application. See, okay, let us get into first, try to understand what is cloud native. See, the cloud native means adopting to many new possibilities, but very different set of architectural constraints offered by the cloud compared to the traditional on-premise infrastructure. So generally, if you look at the different set of architectural constraints and the new possibilities of cloud, what exactly the new possibilities of the cloud? As you know, in cloud, right, we'll talk everything as a service, understand? And you have different types of the service delivery models in the cloud, like IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. And based on that, when you want to move your application to the cloud, right, different cloud platforms comes with their own adoption frameworks. See, in Azure, we call it as a CAF, Cloud Adoption Framework. And in AWS, we call it as a well-architected framework. So what exactly is this one? Very simple. When you're trying to leverage the services and the features that are given, or the infrastructure features that are given by the cloud, understand? So you are trying to design an application which can leverage the strength of the cloud. Basically, it's in the dynamic infrastructure, dynamic capabilities, auto scaling capabilities, understand? So if you are designing a solution using the cloud, means the cloud adoption frameworks are well-architected frameworks, that is basically the solution that you are developing, or the application that you are developing is called as a cloud native. See, unlike monolithic applications, which must be built, tested and deployed as a single unit, the cloud native architectures decompose the components into a loosely coupled services. So the application will be decomposed, understand? And each component, we call it as one service. And they are loosely coupled. So what is an advantage of this one? So each service you can upgrade separately, each service you can scale separately. Understand? Each service can run on a different environment, and each service is not binded to any platform. That means it becomes more portable actually. So these are all basically the main features of the cloud native design actually. So loosely coupled services to help manage complexity and improve the speed, agility and the scale of the software delivery. Okay, so what do you mean by cloud native application? See, this is a cloud native design actually, and adopting and leveraging the cloud infrastructure benefits. Example, as I told you, dynamic infrastructure, auto scaling, that is elastic features, and inbuilt high availability features. So utilizing these things and designing is called as cloud native. So if I take a cloud native application, so a cloud native application is specifically designed from the ground up to take the advantage of the elasticity and the distributed nature of the cloud. Elasticity and the distributed nature of the cloud. And the cloud native applications are typically broken down into multiple self-contained services through the use of technologies, methodologies, understand, DevOps, continuous delivery, continuous integration, containers, microservices, and API based access. So these are all basically the components or the concepts that we will use while we are developing a cloud native application. So this enables the teams to deploy and scale the components independently, so they can make updates, fix the issues, deliver the new features without any service interruption. That means an application will be decomposed into the independent individual components, and each component can be packaged separately, each component can be deployed separately, each component can be updated separately, each component can be scaled separately, each component can have its own availability. So these kind of designing or applications basically called as cloud native approaches or cloud native applications. So typically, if you take a cloud native application, the common components that we will see in any cloud native application is what we call it as microservices, containers, container registries, and container runtimes like Kubernetes or some kind of orchestration engines, and some kind of package management, some kind of version control, and the DevOps. And these are all the, like say, generic terminology that we will use in the cloud native application design. If anybody is much interested, I can suggest you can go through, like see, a concept called as 12factor.net. So these 12-factor apps, basically, when you want to design a cloud native application, we follow the 12-factor app principles. The 12-factor app principles. These 12-factor app principles will talk about what are all the things that I need to take care to design a cloud native application, or a modern web application, or a cloud native application. Example, you will be using the code bases to maintain the version control for your source code, and you will be explicitly declaring and isolate the dependencies. That means you need to have a proper dependency management for your components, and we are not going to hard code the configuration as a part of the application. We are going to parameterize the configuration, and we will store these param and values in the environment external to the application. That means not inside the application, external. So if I'm deploying the application in one environment, these parameters can be stored at the environment level, so that at the deployment time it can pick up those param and values and the application will be deployed. And the backing services, treat the backing services as an attached resource. It can be a Redis cache, or it can be a database, or it can be a NoSQL database, anything. You can treat it as a backing service, as a kind of like say attachable resource. and strictly separate build, release and run stages, and execute your app as one or more stateless processes. So what do you mean by that? That means we are decomposing your application into a stateless process. When I say stateless process, HTTP is stateless. Based on the HTTP, they have come up with the REST specification. Based on the REST specification, they have come up with the concept called as microservices. So execute the app as one or more stateless processes means decompose your application into set of microservices, and each service has to be exposed or exported via the port binding. That means each service should have an independent URL, and concurrency scale out via the process model, not by the app model. Means now my app is in the form of set of, like say, stateless processes, and scale out via the process model. That means each process you can scale out separately. And disposability, maximize the robustness with the fast startup and graceful shutdown. That means you designed your process, that is your service. Now how can I deliver that service? Deliver that service through an environment which can be booted up very fast and it can be shut down gracefully. So that means, so the fast startup and graceful shutdown is provided by the container. So deliver your application, they deliver your service in the form of a container, and the containers provide you the dev and prod parity. That means whether it is a dev environment or a stage or a production environment, I don't require any prerequisites to be available there, because everything that is required for my application. So you will be having your microservice and whatever is the runtime it requires, and what are all the libraries, supporting libraries it requires, and everything you are packaging it as a container. So you just need to ship this container from one environment to another environment. So I can maintain my dev, stage and prod environments as similar as possible, because I don't require any pre-configurations or something. And the logs, treat the logs as the event streams, so that you can have a proper log analytics, like that is real-time log analytics for your applications, and run admin and management tasks as one of the process. So let the DevOps team handle the complete, automate the whole admin process. That means what is the kind of operations that you want to perform, right? Let us automate those operations and keep it actually. So this is basically the principles that we follow when we are developing the cloud native applications. All right. Once people started talking about cloud native applications, now the challenge here. See, we have multi-cloud environments today. Example, we have Azure, we have AWS, you have GCP, you have Rackspace, you have like say IBM Bluemix, you have Alibaba Cloud. Like this, there are many cloud platforms, and obviously every cloud platform has its own set of APIs. Its own means the way they implement the security is different. The way they run the services are different. That means the way they architect the services are different, on which we have to deploy our application. So this is where people started again introducing one more word, which is called as cloud agnostic. So the cloud native versus cloud agnostic. So what exactly this one? Cloud native versus cloud agnostic. So the cloud native and cloud agnostic are two different approaches for cloud computing that differ in how they use the cloud resources and how they are deployed. That means what? If I say a cloud native, it is specific to a particular cloud. That means you are designing your solution, application specific to a particular cloud. That means I will use the set of APIs that are provided by that particular cloud. Example, so the cloud native applications are built to work with a specific cloud provider's platform and take the advantage of its capabilities. This is called as cloud native. Even though we generic word that we are using is cloud native, guys, but today what we are looking at is cloud agnostic. Still we call them as the cloud native, but there is a slight difference between the word called as cloud native and cloud agnostic. So when I say the cloud agnostic, applications are designed to be independent of any specific cloud provider. So that means you will have the portability for your application. And this approach is good for organizations that want to be flexible and portable across multi-cloud platforms to have more control over costs. Not only the costs, there are many considerations while you are designing a cloud native application. So understand, see, but from now onwards, guys, when I use the word called as cloud native, right, I'm talking about cloud agnostic only. Understand, cloud agnostic only. That means this application should be portable on any cloud platform. And it is so the portability in the sense seamlessly you can move this application without making any changes to the application. You can move this application from one cloud platform to another cloud platform. This is basically called as cloud agnostic. Now, what are the considerations? And being a security professional, what exactly we need to concentrate on? Yes, look at this one. So the important considerations: integration and portability with multiple cloud platforms when you are developing your solution, continuous monitoring. I need to have a unified, see, partially my application is running on one cloud, partially on another cloud. And I need to have unified monitoring solution and a cost efficiency. With the help of this cloud agnostic approach, right, the same service is available on AWS as well as Azure. But let me compare the costing specific to that region which we are looking at, and whichever the service is providing me the best the best price, actually I can choose that one, because both the services are same and my application is developed to run on any kind of environment. So I can choose, right, which is the less cost and from which provider, let me choose that particular service. And the performance and the scalability in a multi-cloud environment and ease of management. These are all the things I will consider when I'm, like, say, looking at a cloud agnostic. So I will be having the free hand to choose for my application which components should run on which cloud. So that means my application can spread across multiple cloud, or my application today is running on Azure, tomorrow without changes, I can easily migrate this one to another cloud, port this one to another cloud. These are all okay, guys. But the most important consideration is the security and compliance. So how exactly this security and compliance consideration need to be taken care, or it affects our cloud agnostic approach? Look at this. See, if you take any cloud here, let it be, see, any cloud if you take, let us take, it can be Azure, or it can be AWS, or it can be GCP, anything. See, the core API of any cloud is a REST-based API. So when I say the REST, how can you provide the security for the cloud services? The core API means, let us take, if I'm developing an application, and if this application has to access any of the resources of this cloud environment, it has to be via the REST. And when I say it is a REST, the security for the REST is by using OIDC and OAuth and the SAML. That means the OIDC is for authentication, and OAuth is for authorization, and SAML is for the federation. OpenID Connect, Open Authorization Protocol, Security Assertion Markup Language. It is for the federation. So the protocols are same. Whether it is AWS or Azure or GCP, the core security protocols are the same, but the implementation is different. The implementation, they have their own way of implementing the security. That is, look at this one. The APIs between each cloud provider can vary, can be different, which makes it more difficult to have your application work seamlessly on different cloud providers. So that is the main challenge. See, I developed an application which is a cloud agnostic application, but if I'm porting it on Azure, obviously, if my application has to get authenticated with Azure provided security features in my application, I have to use the security APIs of Azure. And tomorrow, if I'm moving this application to the AWS, and AWS security APIs are different, so it is mandatory that I need to recode it. So to address these challenges, what we can do when we are developing a cloud agnostic solution is, if you're not able to utilize the application's built-in features, then the responsibility lands on your team to ensure that the security and compliance are in place for your application. That means don't use the native APIs of the cloud, and you use your application specific. Example, if I'm developing the microservice, right? Internally in my application, let me implement my own authentication and the authorization so that the portability will be much easier. Instead of using the native APIs. So if you are not able to utilize the application's built-in features, then the responsibility lands on you and your team to ensure that the security compliance are in place for your application. That is where the real challenge comes. Yes, if I'm using the native APIs of the cloud, the native security features of the cloud can be used. That means the native, like say, the threat detection features, vulnerability assessment features, understand, threat intelligence features of the platform can be used. Otherwise, if I'm implementing my own way of, like say, the application, inside the application, I'm implementing programmatically the security, right? Then the complexity is more. That means you and your team to ensure that the security and compliance are in place. And this is exactly where, if it is a cloud agnostic solution, right? So how exactly my CNAPP can come into the picture to take care of the compliance and the security for my application, assessment and everything for my application. This is one of the main important consideration when you are working with the cloud agnostic solution. So from now onwards, even though we are using the concept called as CNAPP is introduced as cloud native application platform. So even though we are saying that cloud native, we will more concentrate only on the cloud agnostic applications. It's not purely the cloud native applications, it's a cloud agnostic applications. That is one of the most important feature you need to see in any CNAPP solution. In any CNAPP solution, I don't want to use independent tools which are specific to one particular cloud. So in a CNAPP solution, right, my application is a cloud agnostic application, but it's using cloud native design. See, cloud native principles are nothing but leveraging the dynamic infrastructure features, elasticity features of the cloud. That's all. That is called as cloud native. It means in a generic terminology, that is called as cloud native. But over a period, people started introducing the word called as cloud agnostic. Then they separated the word called as cloud agnostic and cloud native. Cloud native is not specific to one cloud. Cloud agnostic is nothing but across. Right? It is independent of the cloud provider. Means actually the cloud native principles are nothing but leveraging the cloud characteristics. Understand? Example, as I told you, elasticity, service, say the state means the serverless features of the cloud, dynamic infrastructure features of the cloud, and scalability features of the cloud, auto scaling features of the cloud, and high availability features of the cloud. So that is called as a cloud native. Understand? But yeah, from now onwards, when I use the word called as cloud native, internally you always keep in mind that we are talking about cloud agnostic, not the cloud native purely, because now the words are different. Now the words are different. Understand? So this is about the differences between what do you mean by a cloud native and cloud native application and a cloud agnostic application. Hope this is clear. Yes or no? Any queries till here? You can unmute and you can ask. You raise the hand, I can unmute you and you can ask. Is there any queries, guys?
No, Papa.
Yeah, Logendra. Good, guys. Murugan, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, can you able to hear me, Professor?
Yes, now
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, Professor. This API, what you call the application program interface, is it different from the services what I put my logic inside?
See, when I say the API, yeah, if you look at like C, you have a storage service. So you have a storage API, security service, security API. Understand? So for every service of the cloud, you will have an API endpoint. So those APIs are basically developed using the REST. Understand?
Okay. So the API, what you mean is the service endpoint of the cloud infrastructure to use it.
Programmatically, how you can access that service by
Nothing
using
to do
the
with
REST
my
endpoint
application.
of that. Yeah.
It is nothing to do with my application logic or anything else.
No.
So if I had to invoke my application logic also through API.
No. See,
Okay.
the APIs, see, it is a REST, a representational state transfer. That means, example, if you see, okay, look at this one, you can understand here. This is my application. This is my application. So, inside this application, I'll use the SDK of the cloud, and this SDK of the cloud will interact with the REST endpoint of the cloud. Understand? Now, very simple. This application is like a HR application. It is a HR application. Now, through this HR application, in one form, in one submit form, right, each employee need to upload their latest personal information in the form of a Word document. So they'll come and they'll choose the Word document and they'll say upload. When I say upload here, let us take, I want to upload this one to, in Azure, it is a blob storage, or in AWS, it is an S3. So now in the SDK, I will be using S3 SDK or Azure Blob SDK, and then this SDK, whatever in the application, I will invoke the SDK method, one of the method that in turn will convert it into the REST call, and the REST call will go and interact with this. So that is what do you mean by the purpose of these APIs. Understand?
Yeah. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Right.
Professor, one more basic fundamental question might be, we call this as a platform. Why not as a tool or a product actually? Is there any difference between a platform and a product or a tool?
Which one? Which one? Can you repeat it? I didn't get.
CNAAP, what we call it is a platform actually.
Right.
Okay,
So
why don't you call it
basically,
a tool or a product?
let me talk. See, CNAPP. Okay, once I come to the CNAPP, I'll explain you that. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll address your query because we are about to start that. I'll address your query. Okay. Right. Any other queries, guys? Any other queries? Good. Let us get into now. Just one sec. Yeah. So now it is clear what is cloud native and cloud agnostic. But from now onwards, always keep in your mind, at the back end of your mind, always whenever I use the word called as cloud native, we are only talking about cloud agnostic. We are not talking about any specific to any cloud. So our applications are by default cloud agnostic applications. Understand? That is what we are talking. Right. So look at this. So what is protection platform? CNAPP, Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. First of all, this is actually started from 2021. Gartner started talking about CNAPP. But for the last 1 year or 6 months, or 1 year, I can say strongly, so it became a buzzword in the security market, and especially in the cloud security market, it became a buzzword. Now, first of all, it is not new at all. This word is new, but the concept is not new. Earlier, how we were achieving the functionality that is provided by the CNAPP platform, how we were achieving, and today, what are all the new trends? That is what we are going to see. So first of all, CNAPP, originally defined by the Gartner, emphasizes the need for enterprise to focus on cloud-native security solutions that provide a complete lifecycle approach to application security as opposed to the patchwork of the tools. That means, first of all, we are talking about the complete application lifecycle, end-to-end. That is, from the point of writing the code till the application is deployed and it is ready in the production, I need to have a unified security environment which can be used in all the stages of my application lifecycle. I don't want to use different tools. I'll explain you what we were doing earlier. What do you mean by different tools actually? So CNAPP is not just a new security tool with some hype. This concept is already there. But what is a new in CNAPP is nothing but bringing a unified platform. That is what that is new. But implementation of this, see, earlier also we had the concept of end-to-end security implementation, but now it became as a unified mechanism. That means a single security platform which can provide the security in the entire life cycle, And the CNAPP is a platform intended to replace multiple independent tools with a single holistic security solution for modern enterprises with cloud native workloads. That means we are not going to use independent tools. It is a single tool. Now you can understand. So CNAPP is kind of a framework. That's it. So it's a platform which provides multiple security features. So this is a framework that is defined. Okay, it's very simple. I'm developing a security solution which can be used as a CNAPP product. That means I'm using this platform specifications and what exactly this framework is. In this framework, what we need to take care of. So these things, using this framework, I define my solution, CNAPP solution. So That's why this is called as a platform which has to provide different features and different components. They defined. In CNAPP, in this platform, these components should be there. And when you are developing any security solution, in accordance with these CNAPP specifications, your solution, I can expect these things. So that is what do you mean by a platform here. But the products and solutions are different. So the CNAPP is basically a framework. Able to understand? Right. So the 2021 Gartner Hype Cycle for Cloud Security. Cloud native application protection platforms are, and this is given by the Gartner, and I have taken this definition from the Gartner. The reference for this one is 2021 Gartner Hype Cycle. This is the reference I used here. So the cloud native application protection platforms are an integrated set of security and compliance capabilities designed to help secure and protect cloud native. Guys, can you be on mute? Right. So the CNAPP, the cloud native application protection platforms, are an integrated set of security and compliance capabilities to designed to help secure and protect cloud native applications across, from the design to the development to the production. And CNAPPs consolidate a large number of previously siloed capabilities, including container scanning, cloud security posture management, infrastructure as code scanning, cloud infrastructure entitlements management, and runtime cloud workload protection platforms. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Very simple. Generally, if you take here, today we are using the process in the organization is agile. And today we are using the culture in the organization is DevOps. So the culture is the DevOps and the process is the agile. And the application design which we are talking today is cloud native. Cloud native. See, there is one common point across these things, guys. One common point across all these three things. Agile works on a concept called as modular architecture, and it supports parallel development, and it works on a concept called as iterations. Generally, you have different methodologies like Scrum. You have a methodology called as XP, that is called as extreme programming and all. But let us take this concept called as modular. The Agile works on a modular architectures. That means your project will be divided into modules, and each module can be delivered in one iteration. Generally, these iterations are called as a sprint. So your project is divided into modules. This module is delivered in one sprint. Like this, I have another module, one more sprint, another module, one more sprint like this. So this is modular architecture. Then coming to the application design, cloud native. In the cloud native, your app is divided into microservices. And these are also modular and components. And the DevOps is nothing but you will take one service, you will design the complete SDLC for this service. So what exactly here? In all these three things, the process is the Agile, the culture is the DevOps, and the application architecture that we are using is the cloud native. In all these things, the common point is modularization. The common point is the modularization. That is the most important point that we need to consider here. Understand? Right. So from the development to the production. See, generally, when I'm taking a pipeline here, okay, when I take any pipeline, a CI/CD pipeline, let us take. if I take any CI/CD pipeline, so the first, I will pull the code from the SCM, source control management. I'll pull the code. That means my code is in the Git or Bitbucket or anything. Then I'm going to build the code. Then I'm going to perform the unit test on this code. Then I will do the packaging of the code. And I will publish this one to some of the package managers. Then I will integrate all these things and I will perform integration test. Then I will be going for pre-deploy. I'll run the pre-deployment scripts. Generally, these pre-deployment scripts are IAC scripts. Example, I want to deploy this application, and using this IAC, infrastructure as code script, I will create my environment, and then finally I will deploy the application. Now the application is in the production. Let us take the application is in the production, and this production environment is my cloud. So now the application is deployed here, and this is what created the environment. So this is my life cycle. Now in this, everything is done properly and the application is in the production. But at none of these stages, we never consider the security. Understand? When I say we never consider the security here in any of these stages, once it is gone to the production, understand? And if you are talking or taking care of, or like say analyzing and identifying all the security things in the production, it costs you a lot. That is the reason this is a generic DevOps CI/CD pipeline. That is because once it goes to the production, taking care of the security is very, very costly. So that is where they started talking about shift to left. The security, instead of taking care at the production level, we say that shift to the left. That means at every stage, you take care of the security. So once you add this security into your DevOps lifecycle, they started calling this one as DevSecOps. That means at the coding level, if you are not taking care of the security, and if you consider the security at the build level, it costs you more. And if you are not taking care at the build level, at the test level, if you are taking care of the security, it costs you more. And if you don't take care at the test level, at the packaging level, if you are take care of the security, it will be again doubled or tripled actually. So you have not taken care of the security at any of all these stages. If you come to the end, if you are taking care here, it will be almost all exponentially doubled or tripled the cost of your security implementation. That's why we use a word called as shift to the left. The security, taking care of the security, we'll say that shift to left. That means move the security implementation from the starting onwards. This is what we were talking about, DevSecOps. So this concept is there, but we have different tools for this. At SCM level, I have different set of tools. At a build level, different set of tools. At testing level, different set of tools. At package management level, different set of tools. At IAC scanning level, I have different set of tools. At the deployment level, I have different set of tools. In the production, I have different set of tools. But I don't want these different set of tools to be used in the entire life cycle. So CNAPP is a platform which can unify all these tools and showing at a single place. That is where the CNAPP came into the picture. That means well before the concept of the CNAPP, we were talking about DevSecOps. Now we stopped talking about DevSecOps, and the enhanced security management is what now we call it as CNAPP. Or it's very simple. DevSecOps, we don't talk about unification of the tools. And in CNAPP, we'll talk about unification of the tools as a part of your DevSecOps. So that's all. It is not a new concept. It is not a new concept. Before the CNAPP, we were talking more on the DevSecOps actually. Able to understand this? What do you mean by shift to left? Yes or no? Good.
Yes.
Right. So now look at this one. See here. So CNAPP is a logical evolution for DevSecOps and shift left security model. So that is what the CNAPP is. Again, this I have taken from the Gartner. CNAPP is a logical evolution for DevSecOps and shift left security. But the terminology is different in CNAPP and the concepts or the component in the CNAPP were different. So now, right, I spoke more about DevSecOps in the CI/CD pipeline, but we don't use this DevSecOps word only. From now onwards, we are using something called as CNAPP. Now, let us get into this. See here, detailed CNAPP capabilities. I'm taking the same DevOps lifecycle. I'm taking the same DevOps lifecycle here. So first, artifact scanning. Right, the words that we were using is SAST and DAST. That is nothing but static application security test, dynamic application security test, and API scanning. Can you be on mute, guys? So API scanning, software composition analysis, SCA. Software composition analysis, that is nothing but scanning, API scanning and the code scanning and all, and exposure scanning, sensitive data, secrets, CVEs, malware, attack path analysis, and runtime protection, web application API protection, application monitoring, cloud workload, network segmentation, exposure scanning, and because today in this deployment, finally, my production environment is a cloud. When I say my runtime is the cloud, here. So the cloud configuration, infrastructure as code scanning, network configuration and security policy implementation, cloud infrastructure entitlements management, and Kubernetes security posture, cloud security posture management. So this is what the components that we see in the CNAPP today. Understand, any CNAPP solution should have all these capabilities, but the wording is different. They use different wording here or the terminology here. Look at this. What is the bidirectional feedback in the CNAPP actually? Because always when you are working with the CNAPP guys, always keep in mind the whole end-to-end life cycle of your application. That means keep in your mind the DevOps life cycle of your application, the two words, because it is cloud native. When I say cloud native, your final runtime is the cloud and the applications are 12-factor apps and the process is agile and the culture is DevOps. These are all the 4 points you always remember when you are looking at or evaluating any CNAPP solution. Right. So the artifact is a secure, means insight from the development and insight from the production. So it is a continuous feedback. That is intended state and observed state. So in the production, it is an observed state. And in the development side, it is an intended state. So insight from the development, that is artifact is secure and compliant. That means your code is secure and it is compliant. Identify the expected artifact connectivity and behaviors. Identify the residual vulnerabilities needing runtime protection and recommend the least privilege policies and ensure the approved artifacts has not changed. This is like what we will take care at the development level. And once it is moved to the runtime in the production, identify the deviations from the desired state and identify the running vulnerable components identify unused workload components, identify the areas to trim access and permissions, because we need to work on the least privileges, and provide a runtime context to the development scans, and then identify the areas of application misuse and the attack surfaces for your application. Understand? And one more important thing, guys. In a monolith application, understand? See, this is one challenge actually. People talk about more on the pros of, like, say, this one, which is like when you are moving from monolith application architecture to cloud native. See, actually speaking, guys, this is one area which the people talk very less about. Means because most of the documentation talks about the pros of cloud native application architecture. See here, see, in a monolith application, you are going to package your UI and your data access logic and your service access logic. Everything you are packaging it as, right, kind of a .zip or a .war file and all. But now your application UI is in one microservice, and data access logic as one microservice, and service access logic as one microservice, like this. And each one has its own URL. Each one has its own URL. Understand? See here the people can access only the UI and then get into the logic and all. So if you look at the attack surface, and here if you look at the attack surface, so here the attack surface is very small, because only one component I am exposing. Through that only they are going to invoke the business logic, any kind of data access logic or service access logic. But in this, your attack surface is more, because everything is exposed, everything has a URL. Your attack surface is more actually. So this is one thing always you keep in your mind. The attack surface of the cloud native application approach is much bigger than monolith application. This is actually the con, and this need to be taken care well. So this point is like many places it is like, I don't know, I have gone through a lot of documentation while I'm doing the designing of cloud native applications, or when I'm doing migrations, because I have done a lot of migrations and all. When I was going through the lot of documentation, I never see people talking much about this attack surface. But here the attack surface is very high compared to this. This point you need to remember always. Understand? Right. So this is like the continuous bidirectional feedback from the dev to the production and from the production to the dev. Okay. So that's why finally, if you look at here, guys, so this is what I can say it as what exactly the CNAPP is. So excuse me, one side is your application, your final production environment is the cloud. So there is a synergy in combining CWPP and CSPM. I'll talk about this. Cloud Security Posture Management, Workload Posture Platform, Protect Platform capabilities, and a multi-vendors are pursuing this strategy. So the combination will create a new category of cloud native application protection that scan the workloads and configurations in the development and protect workloads and configurations at runtime. So try to understand. So these are all my workload protection platform, and this is basically CIEM and CSPM, posture management and incident and response actually. So entitlement, okay. So infrastructure entitlement management and posture management here. So these are all two things at the runtime level, and workload protection is at the development level. So if I combine these, we will be having a CNAPP. And this diagram, I observed this diagram, and very rarely, guys, actually, because generally CNAPP, they'll say that these are all the components of CNAPP. But if I want to map this one to my DevOps or DevSecOps, what you are taking care at in the CI/CD pipeline, what you are taking care at the development level, what you are taking care at the runtime level. So the CNAPP solution or a CNAPP platform will mainly talk about these three components actually. These three components. Let us see. What are all the core components of CNAPP? One is Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM. And it's vital for identifying and rectifying misconfigurations and ensuring the compliance with relevant regulations and the industry standards. So come back to here. This is my CSPM, which is in the runtime, Understand? Right. Then Cloud Workload Protection Platform specifically safeguard various cloud workloads, including virtual machines, storage, database, containers, web apps, and APIs against unique threats they face. So that is going to be at DevOps workflow level. At the DevOps workflow level, CWPP need to be taken care at the DevOps workflow level. Understand? And generally, the CSPM will take care at the runtime level actually, at the production or the runtime level. Understand? And identity and access management. So secure the access to the cloud resources, ensuring that only verified and authorized users can access the critical data and applications. And application security, it involves the tools and the practices that secure application throughout their development and deployment, identifying the vulnerabilities and mitigating them effectively. And data security, this is they call it as here if you see cloud security posture, infrastructure posture management, data posture management, like that they use different words here. And here this is IAM, this is security only, identity and access management only, but they call it as CIEM, as an infrastructure entitlement management, we call it as entitlement management. But actually speaking, it is nothing but identity and access management, we call it as. So in all these areas, guys, if you see, you are already like say cyber security professionals. You were more talking about SOC, you were talking about SIEM, understand? So where they come into the picture, and in any of these things, we never talk about network security, we never talk about SIEM, we never talk about SOC processes, understand? That is SOC processes and all, we never spoke, right? But yes, they are also important. See, these are all the core components of the CNAPP, and these components can be complemented by non-primary components. So the non-primary components of the, see, these are all the primary components of the CNAPP. And when I say non-primary components, that means, right, CSNS, Security for Cloud Native Networks. Cloud Security Network means security for cloud native networks, and SIEM and threat intelligence. So these components will complement these core components. So the CNAPP can be complemented by using this component. That means your CNAPP solution still have the features of CSNS, the feature of like say threat intelligence, and the feature of SIEM. If not the feature is embedded, it should have a very good integration with the SIEM. Understand? Like you can take Splunk or you can take Sentinel. It should have the integration, very good integration. So these are all the main components of the CNAPP. But look at this one. This diagram is the most important diagram, guys. So where you will take workload, where you take posture management, cloud security posture management, and where you take care infrastructure entitlement management, where you will take it. So in the runtime, we'll take care of this, and in the DevOps level, we'll take care of this one. So the CNAPP, including this CNAPP from dev to the production, it provides you unified platform or a solution. Any CNAPP solution should provide unified mechanism for this. Understand? Yes. So use cases. So here you can see some of the use cases for CNAPP. Preventing misconfiguration and the compliance violations. identity, security and access management, securing multi-cloud environments, container security, enhancing the DevSecOps with CNAPP, and proactive measures and incident preparedness with the CNAPP. Typically, this is CIEM, and network security, CSNS. So these are all many use cases of the CNAPP. Many use cases like this, you can use the CNAPP practices in any of these kind of use cases. And after Gartner started talking about the CNAPP, so the different organizations, they have developed their CNAPP solutions. CNAPP solutions. You can see generally, what is a CNAPP maturity model? What is the CNAPP's maturity model? So first is the traditional. See, many of the organizations are already using DevSecOps. And once Gartner started talking about the CNAPP, they started moving towards the CNAPP. So in this, like say, adoption, the CNAPP adoption in the organization, you can see the different stages in the maturity. Like the traditional, this is where the most organizations generally sit today in their CNAPP journey, because yeah, in a traditional, they have DevSecOps. They say that, yeah, we are up to the CNAPP. So CNAPP means the things that are like important as a part of the CNAPP platform, they're all well taken care in my organization, but with a different set of tools actually. But if I want to move to the pure CNAPP platform, then the advanced stage. So this is where in this stage of CNAPP journey, organizations are making progress across all major pillars and starting to implement a more proactive approach to the cloud security. They are trying to unify the things and bringing the CNAPP properly. And in the optimal, yes, they implemented. So when organizations reach the optimal stage in their CNAPP journey, they will have a better ROI and are mature enough to disrupt attacks before they happen in the organization. See, the only main important thing, guys, here, different security tools and different, like say, dashboards, understand, and different levels of, like say, threat intelligence for each tool, and different types of reports. And I want something called as a unified dashboard, and with a unified a UI through which I can manage the security at all the stages in my life cycle. That is where the CNAPP comes into the picture. Yes. So some of the popular CNAPP solutions you can see here. So Wiz is one company, Cavonix, Lacework, Sentinel-1, and Microsoft Defender for Cloud, CrowdStrike, it's called as Falcon Cloud Security, right? Runicast, Checkpoint, CloudGuard, Waraka, Tenable, Aqua Security, Algo Security, like that. There are Sysdig Security. There are so many tools available in the market today. But if you see the market share here, look at this. So presently the leaders, if you see in this domain, one is the Wiz and another one is the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Guys, can you be on mute? Yeah. So these are all the leaders you can see. Microsoft Defender for Cloud and the Wiz. Right. There are some of, like say, the high performers you have, and the niche. Cavonix is a niche. That means newly entered into this market. So like these, there are different, like say, the CNAPP solution providers available. So as I told you, one of the most popular is a Defender for Cloud, Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Understand? I didn't see such kind of CNAPP solution from AWS, such kind of CNAPP solution from GCP. So Microsoft is like, I can say, very, very advanced in terms of the CNAPP implementation. CNAPP, like say, bringing the CNAPP solutions. Understand? Right. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So I'll be like showcasing you the Microsoft Defender for Cloud here. See, the Microsoft Defender for Cloud is a security posture management and workload protection platform for Azure, on-premise, and a multi-cloud. That is the best part of Defender for Cloud. And means it provides you the complete CNAPP platform for multi-cloud environments. Multi-cloud environments from dev to the production. That is the best part. Dev to the production. And Microsoft Defender for Clouds feature covers the two broad pillars of the cloud security, security posture management and workload protection. Workload protection. Understand? And yes, it even takes care of CIEM also. Understand? So, but as a part of the CNAPP, both the things are taken care. That means all these three areas are well taken care. CWPP and CSPM and CIEM. All these three things are well taken care by Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Understand? See here, cloud security posture management, where you can see the secure score and you can see what are all the environments that you have and all. So the cloud security posture management feature provides the following: visibility to help you to understand your current security situation, and hardening guidance to help you efficiently and effectively improve your security. This is the best part of cloud, Defender for Cloud. That means not only the visibility, and it even gives you the remediation. And again, the remediation is in the form of IAC, that is infrastructure as code. You can just one click, you can remediate actually. Just by making one click, you can remediate. Understand? I will demonstrate that. Then, so cloud security posture management, Microsoft Defender for Cloud coverage, security alerts, advanced protection, and it gives you the complete insights also. Complete insights also. I'll run through these things. So what are all the basic security features? You can see here, Defender CSPM, generally foundational CSPM capabilities, which are defined in the Gartner, kind of continuous assessment of the security configuration of your cloud resources, and secure recommendations to fix and misconfigurations and weaknesses, and a secure score. These are all the generic guidelines that are given by any like the CNAPP solution and a CSPM. Means if I say that this tool is a CNAPP tool, it has to provide these three features. But whereas if you look at the Defender, understand, it provides, you can see the governance and regulatory compliance and cloud security explorer, attack path analysis, and the best part is agentless scanning. Agentless scanning. And it can do the agentless scanning for Azure and AWS. Any kind of services. Example, AWS EC2 instances. And it can do the agentless scanning for that. And attack path analysis and cloud security explorer and regulatory compliance for AWS, GCP, and on-premise also. Governance for all these three, secure score for all these three, multi-cloud environment. So this is why, like, this is in very advanced level. In the CSPM, the Defender for Cloud is at very, very advanced level. The features that are provided. Right. So these are all the enhanced features. You can see here. You can just click on foundational CSPM, which is free. And Defender for CSPM, servers, you have to apply the different plans actually. App service, different plans, database, another, storage, containers, Kubernetes, container insights, everything. You can buy the plan and you can, but yeah, to try this one, guys, you have a 30-day free trial for Defender for Cloud. You can enable it. I'll just show you that. You can enable that. Understand? Yeah, there is one more interesting feature called as Azure Arc. Azure Arc simplifies the governance and the management by delivering a consistent multi-cloud and on-premise management platform. So the Arc, so you have Azure Arc. It is actually a hybrid infrastructure platform for governance and the management. Governance and the management for hybrid environments like, example, if you see Kubernetes environments, or container runtime environments, or infrastructure VMs environment. So Azure Arc provides you to apply the governance, Try to understand, it is not the part of actually the CNAPP, it complements the CNAPP. The Azure Arc can complement the CNAPP. Understand? So you can see Azure Arc for servers, and you have Azure Arc for Kubernetes, and Azure Data Services on Azure Arc. So you have the Arc capabilities. That is basically the Arc capabilities are governance and management of hybrid environments or multi-cloud environments. You can apply the governance capabilities, mainly that one, management capabilities. It is with the help of the Arc actually. So this Azure Arc will complement your Defender for Cloud. Azure Arc will complement your Defender for Cloud. Understand? Yeah. So you have in the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark in the Defender for Cloud. So you can see here, it will talk about, see, as I told you, if it is Azure, we'll talk about Cloud Adoption Framework. Okay. The Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, MCSB, provides the best practices and recommendations with input from a set of holistic Microsoft and industry security guidelines. That includes CAF, Cloud Adoption Framework guidance on security, including strategy, roles and responsibilities, and Azure top 10 security best practices. And in the same way for Azure well-architected framework, guidance on security, securing your workloads on Azure. And the Chief Information Security Officer Workshop Program, guidance and the reference strategies, accelerate the security modernizing for using the Zero Trust principles. And then finally, other industry and cloud service providers security best practices like AWS or GCP, what are all their best practices? All those things can be taken care into the benchmarking in the Defender for Cloud actually, Defender for Cloud. So this is what you have a dashboard for the, see the way you can check the security score in the same way the compliance dashboard also. So how many, like look at see here, Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark and lowest compliance regulatory standards, lowest standard. So you have PCI, ISO, Azure CIS like that. So according to that, what is your organizational security compliance? Everything can be shown at a single dashboard here. So the Microsoft Defender for Cloud streamlines the process for meeting regulatory compliance requirements using the regulatory compliance dashboard. And the compliance dashboard gives you a view of your overall compliance standing, and security for non-Azure platforms follows the same cloud and neutral security principles as the Azure. Right. So security initiatives and the policies, that means governance policies. So the Defender for Cloud applies the security initiatives to your subscription, and these initiatives contain one or more security policies, and each of these policies results in a security recommendation and improving your security posture. And out of the box examples, Defender for Cloud, environment, that's okay, how you can do it. And so there are so many Azure policies, security policies are available, which you can apply directly, which you can apply. And this is again one unique feature which is available only in the AWS, called as Azure policies, which is basically for the governance. Basically for the governance. This governance includes security governance also. Security governance also. Yeah. So the security initiative, CIS, understand? So a security initiative is a collection of Azure policy definitions or rules that are grouped together towards specific goal or purpose. Understand? See, Azure Foundation Benchmark. These are all the policies that you can apply. These are all available, which is provided by Microsoft directly. And security initiatives simplify the management of your policy. Generally, these policies are written in the JSON. These policies are written in the JSON. I'll show you all these things. Yes. So what is a security policy? You can see. An Azure policy definition created in the Azure policy is a rule about specific security condition that you want to control. And for example, controlling what type of resource can be deployed or enforcing the use of the tags on all the resources, kind of these governance policies, complete governance. And in this governance, security is also the part. This is one of the best feature, guys. Azure policies is the best feature. Now, I'll tell you one thing, guys. Yeah, anyhow, how to see the alerts and all, I'll show you this. And the recommendations, security score recommendations. See, these are all the best parts. Enable MFA, secure management ports, 8, remediate vulnerabilities. So if I expand this and in one click, I can remediate. One click, I can remediate. Using the policies, Defender for Cloud periodically analyzes the compliance status of your resources to identify the potential security misconfigurations and weaknesses. And it then provides you with recommendations on how to remediate those issues. Recommendations result from assessing your resources against the relevant policies and identifying the resources that are not meeting the defined benchmark or the defined requirements. Defined benchmark are the requirements. This is our security posture. See, I have multi-cloud environment. So AWS is 78%. AWS and GCP, if you add, it will tell you the security posture for your AWS and the GCP also. Understand? I'll show you how to integrate it. So improving your secure score. So to improve your secure score, remediate security recommendations from your recommendation list. And you can remediate each recommendation manually for each resource to use fix option. This is what I told you. You can just click on fix. So there you have the complete remediation automated. It's in the form of what you call it as the IAC script is given by the Azure itself for the remediation. So we'll see a simple demonstration about the Defender for Cloud, a simple demonstration. Understand? Let us see that. See, look at this one, guys. You see, if you have an Azure subscription here, let me close all. Take an example. I'll just go to portal.azure.com. So I'll go to my DevOps subscription, sorry, my Azure subscription. Look at this. So yeah, look at this one. See here, if I go to Defender for Cloud, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, see, you will have an option like see, enable the Microsoft Defender for Cloud's enhanced security features on your subscription. Get started with a 30-day free trial. You can just upgrade it. You can just say upgrade. So this 30-day free trial will be applied on your subscription. Defender for Cloud, this is like the way you can like say subscribe for this, the way you can subscribe for this. Now I have already subscribed this in a different account. I'll show you that. And I created some environment here. So I'll go to portal.azure.com. So I'll go to CNAAP race. So you can see here. See here. So this is my, sorry, one second. So I'll go to portal.azure.com. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that's okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. So let me enter the code 7239. Okay, look at this. So here, okay, just give me 1 second. Let us do one thing, guys. I'll go to portal.azure.com. Right. So look at this one. Okay. So see here, this is the kind of lab environment I have, guys. See here, I created my own subscription, and this is my resource group. One resource group contains a VNet, and inside this VNet, in the default subnet, I have one Windows and one Linux system and one security group, and I have the one container registry, one cluster, Kubernetes cluster, and I have one app service, one Azure function, and I have the storages and the log analytics workspace and key vault, and I have my databases. Means this is a PaaS service. Understand? So the database services. This is what the environment that I have. I created here. Look at this. So this is a resource group I created. So called as CNAPP lab. CNAPP lab. Sorry, race lab. So I created a race lab, and in these you can see all these resources are created, or these resources, and I'll go to my Defender for Cloud here. Now, first thing that you see here is I'll go to the management environment settings. So in the environment settings, you can see there is one Azure subscription. Look at this. This is my one Azure subscription I have. This is Azure Pass sponsorship, and this is like, say, 11 out of 12 plans are enabled. So what are all the Defender for Cloud plans I enabled here? Look at this one. So what are all the Defender plans I enabled here? You can see that list. So you can see I enabled in the CSPM part, foundational CSPM is on by default. Defender CSPM, it is billable for 5 resources full. So I enabled this one. And then CWP, workload protection. So displayed represents a list of prices, and that's okay. First 30 days are free. So this is completely enabled. See, look at this one. The plans that are enabled, except APIs, I enabled everything. So if you want, you can enable this one also. So API plans $200 per month. Understand? So you can select which is your plan, and you can say save it. So like this, you can apply it, all the plans here. So for servers, app services, containers, key vault, resource manager. So CWP, this is basically, understand? And this is for one subscription I enabled. Now, let me go to the environment settings here. I'll just say save it. So you can see presently I have only on Azure, but if I go to the environment, see, I can add my AWS. So let us take, I have, let me take aws.amazon.com. So let me log in into my account. So I'll log in into my account. One second, guys. Okay. Okay, fine. I thought some questions actually. Right. So let me log in into my AWS account. So I want to integrate this also, and I will deploy some infrastructure here. So to integrate this one, first let me go to my IAM here. First let me take my account ID and everything. So here I will be getting my account ID. So now let me go to my Defender for Cloud. I'll say I want to even enable the CSPM and CW, means the both the CNAPP features on AWS. So connector name, I'll just say AWS Con1. So it's a single account, the AWS regions, and let me create the same resource group for this connection. I'll give the base lab. So the location, I'm using UK South for this, right? Scan interval, you can see here. So 1 hour to 24 hours. So what is your scan interval? So I'll just give every 1 hour, let us take. And what is your account ID? Let me paste my account ID. So next, select the plans. So these are all the plans that I'm selecting for both, for this service also. And I'll say configure the access, right? So we are saying the default access for this. So this is autofill deployment role ARN and all. To customize the role names, click here. So first you have to run this one basically. To configure the access to the AWS, a template has been generated based on the plans. Select in the previous tab, and upon executing the template, custom roles will be created to facilitate onboarding of yours. So you have a CloudFormation template and you have a Terraform template. Both the things are given. So you can use any of these templates to work with this. So generally you have to run this one. Okay, let me go to my Windows subsystem for Linux. Let me see what exactly the CLI I have here. So first I'll say AZ-version. I have Azure here and AWS-version. So I have AWS CLI also. Now let me go here. I'll just say Terraform version. So the Terraform is not available because that is easy to provision. So let me just go to Terraform download. So This is the Ubuntu. I'll take this. I'm just quickly installing that. And I will run that one so that the provisioning will happen. I'll show you that. This is the way how you need to configure your CNAPP solution for multi-cloud environments. Yeah, look at this, guys. So I'll just say AZ group list. I want to check whether I logged into the Azure or not. Yeah, I logged into the Azure. I'll say AWS S3 LS. So it is not there. Now let us take AWS configure. I want to log in into my AWS from here. So this is my AWS. So let us go to my root account. Generally, we don't use the root account, but I'm just showing you for example purpose. I'll just say delete this account. Let me create the credentials for my root account because I want to log in using this root account. So this is my access key and this is my secret access key. So the region, I'll give it as US-West-2. I'll say JSON. Right, now if I see AWS S3 LS. Yeah, now I'm able to log in into AWS. And if I say Terraform -- version. So I have the Terraform also. Now to configure this, as it showed you, to configure the access on AWS, a template has been generated based on the plans you selected previous day upon executing the template. The custom roles will be created to facilitate onboarding of the AWS account. So look at this one. These are all the custom roles that are going to be created. So I'll copy this. I'll copy this one. So let me go here. I'll just say VI. I'll give it as CNAPP.tf. CNAPP.tf. So I'll paste this one. This is the script. So now I'll just say Terraform init. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll just say ELS. There are so many things. I'll just say mkdir F1. So I'll copy. I'll just say move CNAPP.pf to F1. I'll go to CD F1. So I have only this file. Now I'll just say Terraform init. This is the way how you can add the multi-cloud environments. Yeah, it is done. I'll say Terraform plan. I want to see what exactly it is going to create. This script is going to create. Yeah, it's going to create 23 resources. These are all the resources. You can see basically they are all the roles. The roles are getting created. Understand? That's fine. So everything is okay. Now I'll say Terraform apply. I'll just say yes. So it's creating all those roles. In AWS, it is creating the roles. Understand? Yes, it is created. So 23 resources. See AWS IAM role, AWS IAM role for automation. Understand? MDC setup and CSPM monitor AWS. So these are all the roles that are created here. So I can go to the AWS IAM in the roles. So based on creation time. Yeah, you can see Defender for Cloud CIEM, Sensitive Data Discovery, MDC Container K8S Data Collection role, MDC. So all these roles are created. All these roles are created. Till here it is created. All these roles are created. Understand? So now let us go back here. So we downloaded this one. So run the template, Terraform plan and all this stuff. Right. Now I'll say review and generate. And I'll say create it. So it's creating the connector and validating the access to the AWS environment. Yes. So let me go to the Defender for Cloud again. I'll go to the Defender for, let me go to the home. Let me go to Defender for Cloud. And I'll go to the environment settings. So let me scroll down here. So I'll say expand all. Wait, even that has to come. I'll just say refresh. Refresh. Wait. It has to show this connector is created. Few minutes for the change to be reflected. So that will appear here. Now let me provision some resources on AWS also, so that we'll see, because it takes time, guys. At least 10 minutes it will take for it to find actually. Right. So let me go here. I'll go to the, I'll just take one simple my lab template. I'll just go to my github.com Jenkins RB. I'll share this lab, complete lab, guys. You can try this one. So let me go to the labs. I'll go to the files. Let me take, this is my CloudFormation template. So let me take this template. So this is my template. I'll copy these to the notepad. So file save as. I'll say, okay, let me give cftemp 1.json, cf1 temp 1.json. So I created this template here. Look at this. This is a JSON. Let me provision these resources so that it will start scanning. So to do this, I'll go to the CloudFormation. I'll go to the CloudFormation. So I'll say create a stack. Upload the template file. So I'm uploading cftemp.json. So this is a template file. I'll just say CNAPP stack. CNAPP stack. So these are all what is the DB name, DB password, DB root password, DB user, instance type. These are all the parameters. I'll just say test db1 and db password admin 123, db root password admin 123, and db user I'll give db admin. T2 micro is good enough. That's okay, let it take. And no tags, no roles, and yeah, I'll just say next. It's creating the resources actually. I'll just say, yeah, this is fine. I'll just say submit. So it creates the resources here so that it will start scanning that. As soon as the connector is up, it will start scanning that one. I'll just say refresh. It will come, wait, it will come. Understand? Okay, so meanwhile, if you see here guys, if you see here, look at this one. So once you are configuring the environmental settings here, then the next one you have to see here is now you can see what is the security posture. This is what I'm talking about. What is the security posture? Let us generate. Means presently I have only Azure because AWS now only I configured. Maybe it takes another 5-10 minutes for that to appear, and it will show you now the security posture and workload protection. These two are the important part of the CNAPP, and the data security posture and the DevOps security posture. Now, if you want, you can even integrate with your the DevOps pipelines also. Example, if I again go to the, let it come. So I'll go to the environment settings here. You can see add the environment. You can configure your Azure DevOps. So the connector name, I'll give it as AZCon1. See, I have my DevOps workload also here. Look at this one. I'll just say dev.azure.com. So I have some repositories and all here, some Git repositories and all here. So I can configure these things also here. Sign out. Yeah, now right. So I'll go to dev.azure.com. I think this browser, I'll go to incognito, dev.azure.com. So I'll give RB_DevOps. This is altogether a different subscription, my DevOps subscription. Here I have some repos, some pipelines and all this stuff actually. See, if I go to TRNG Lab 1. So here if you go to the repos, see I have some code here. Understand? So it has to scan even my, because in the DevOps life cycle from SCM onwards it can do the scanning. So I can take these things also. Let me take this one also. I'll go here, AZCon1, and I'll use the same race lab. So the location I'll give it as UK South. Next, configure the access. So authorize the Azure DevOps security. So I'm using RB_DevOps. So Microsoft Security DevOps account. These are all the features it will be asking. I'll say accept. So all existing, future, all existing organization, existing and future organization. So with these permissions, identity and all it is taking. I'll say yes, and I'll say create. So I'm creating a Azure DevOps connection also. So now I have a multi-cloud platform and my DevOps environment. Generally, in any CNAPP solution, these features you need to expect, guys. Understand? That means it should be a multi-cloud environment, or it can be even on-prem environment. And what are all the DevOps environments you are using, it should be able to be in. Then only you will have end-to-end. Then only you will have end-to-end here. Okay. Let it create the connector. Let it create the connector here. Right. So it's creating here. Wait. Yeah, connector created successfully. And I'll say refresh. So look at this one. Yeah, AWS has come. 4 of 4 plans in progress. Now the DevOps also should come. DevOps also. So total I have 3 environments for my CNAPP. So one is Azure environment, AWS environment, and a DevOps environment also. Now, right, it will start, guys, because I provisioned the environment also in AWS. So now you can see the security posture and workload protections, both you can see now. So let us go to the security posture. Yeah. So you can see and default workspace for the last 7 days. Understand? So this is my secure score you will be getting. Wait. Or last 3 days also, or today also actually. Yeah. Still the data has not come. Wait. Not yet come. So I'll say every 5 minutes you can apply. So workload protections. Wait. Yeah, look at this one. Even the security posture also will come. So the Defender for Cloud Key Vault Service, Azure Database, Storage, App Service, Containers, Servers, and Resource Manager. This is what the protection that it is in place. And any security alerts are there. Advanced protection here. Advanced protection. Just-in-time VX access to unprotected. So I'll click on this now. So how does it work? Configured and not configured. So you can say these are the 2 things, just-in-time access. The severity is very high. So let us select this one. You can say enable the JIT on 1 VM. So it gives you the recommendations and then you can just enable it. JIT in time actually. So you can see configure the ports on which just-in-time VM access is applicable. So I'll just say this one. And I'll just say OK. And let me select on 22. I'll say OK. So time range is 3 hours. Like these, it will give you the complete recommendations. Understand? So container image scanning, none, because there are no images actually. And ARC enabled, none. So like these, it will give you the workload. Means if I try to pump some images. Now take an example. I will try to pump some images here into the presently, if I go to my registry here, how exactly the data protection works, I'll show you. I'll just go to the same. I'm opening this screen, portal.azure.com. So this is this one. So if I go to my container registry, I don't have any images. I'll just go to all services. I'll just say container registries. See, there is one container registry. There is one container registry here. I'll just go to the services. Presently, if you see, there are no repositories here. There are no repositories. So now let me connect to this. So this is my registry name. So I'll take this registry name. Let me just This is my registry name. Now, let me try to one second. Let it complete it, we'll see. See, I'll just, it is coming here, wait. See, I'll just go here. I'll just create, let us take an example. I'll go to CD. I'll just say, I'll just put some image here so that it has to scan that image. So I'll just go to F2. I'll say CD to F2. Let me just use, I'll just say echo. I'll take some sample image. I'll just say from. Any image I'll take, like I'll just say mcr.microsoft.com, or let me take one image, just a second. I'll go here. Let me go to the same lab I opened, right? So github.com. I'll just put some image here. Wait. I'll go to the labs. Let me go to let me take okay, so let me write. I'm just creating one Docker file here. If I see ls, a Docker file is created. Now let me try to build it. Build and deploy to the container. So to build it, I'll say ACR build image. This is the image I want to build, and the registry. I'll take the registry here. So my registry is this one. This is my registry, and my Docker file is dot. So I'm pushing the image to that, and the repo it is going to create here is sample. Look at this. Yeah. So this is done. So if you go here, let us take Defender for Cloud. Yeah, we will see the security posture, because now only I projected there, the coverage it will come, and see presently earlier it was showing here, yeah, advanced protection, container image scanning. So still the scan data has not come. So Azure Container Registry images should have vulnerabilities resolved. Unhealthy registries, healthy registries, not applicable. You will be getting, and then you will get the recommendations. Wait, it has to come. Yeah, I'll click on the security posture. Let it come. And not only that, guys, in the, yeah, now you can see this is a AWS, this is your Azure DevOps, and this is your Azure Pass. The scores have to come. The scores have to come. It will appear the scores, because now only I enabled all the things, it will appear here. So it gives you the complete posture of your the security here. So the environments are ready now. You can see all the three environments are ready. So DevOps 1 plan is ready, and AWS it is in progress. Everything is in progress. Once they appear, everything appears in the security posture here, and it will give you by cloud environment what is your security posture, and for all these three subscriptions what is, and you can take the governance report of this one and what is the security posture, and you can see the recommendations, and you can do the remediation quickly. One click you can do the remediation actually. So like this you can go on, inject the data, and you can go on, like said, see, this is where the compliance policies that you can upload, and you can define your own compliance. 47 of 63 controls passed actually, and manage the compliance standards. So governance rules, data sensitive rules, direct boarding. Let us take governance rules here. So you can say create a first rule. So you can create your own governance rule here. You can create your own governance rule, the priority and the description, and what is the conditions for this rule, and what is the scope of this, right? I can say the scope is Azure Pass, AWS, or what are all the things that you specified, and what are all the conditions for this. And the JSON is readily available. The JSONs are available here. You can see, if I go to, let us go here, you have a big list. I'll say Azure policy, see, repository of Azure resource policies built in, and look at this one, built-in policies. You have hundreds of policies available, guys. The built-in policy, you can see the policy definitions. You can see hundreds of policies are available, and not only that, you can see some sample policies. See, you have the sample policies available. And apart from these, if I go here itself, if I go to my Azure itself, if I go to all services and go to policy, and if you click on the policy here, right, and look at the authoring. See, these are all the policies that are in place now, which we created. And at the policy level, it is showing you here non-com. But instead of seeing here, we can see the same result, this result at your CNAPP, that is your Defender Cloud. See, you can see here the definitions. So if you want, you can create your policy definition. So these are all the built-in policies. You can see PCI DSS and FedRAMP. So you only need to do is you need to apply this policy and assign this particular initiative. You have to apply the policy. So many policies are available. Security and the governance policies are available, which you can apply, which is in accordance with your, or you can customize these policies and you can apply here. Able to understand, guys, how to configure this, the CNAPP tool? Able to understand or not? Yes or no? So it takes little time, guys. All those recommendations will come. We have to wait for that. It will come. Now only we injected that particular image. We can even see for the container registry also. So this is our Azure Pass sponsorship. These are all the environments over time. So I'll say it has to come. Still not yet come. Wait. I'll say custom only for today. Wait, it will come. And let us go here. Yeah, let us go to these recommendations here. There are low, medium are 2, high is 0, critical there are no here. So this is our this one. These are all the recommendations that you have. Understand? It will come the whole. So now it is Azure, AWS and Azure DevOps. If I just like do it only for AWS, still not yet come. So uncheck the AWS. So what presently is available is only for our Azure environment only we have here. Understand? So let us go to the governance report. So the subscriptions, Azure Pass sponsorship, all these things will appear in a time. It takes little time because now only we enabled it. All these things will appear. So workload protections. Yes. The servers containers 2 out of 2. This is Azure containers that are available. Yes. You can see container image scanning, 1 unprotected. This is what I was telling you. So now it appears here. Whatever the image that we pushed, you can see. If I go to the image here, all services, I'll just say earlier there were no container images. So I'll go to the container as soon as you are pushing the image. So if I go to the repositories, so this is what we created repository. It will appear here. Sample hello world. So in this we pushed the image v1. So this image is now unprotected. You can see unprotected image scanning. Azure registry container should have vulnerabilities resolved. So unhealthy registry 1 of 1 and it is high. Now look at what is your remediation step. Manual remediation. Manual remediation. So unhealthy is this one. This is the unhealthy and what are all the vulnerabilities you have here. So these are all like say Azure sponsorship. It directly takes. And if you want to remediate, you can trigger a logic app or you can say exempt and all. So this is a unhealthy. See, the container image assessment scans your registry for commonly known CVEs, commonly known vulnerabilities and provides the detailed vulnerability report for this one. Understand? So this is the basically what we have here, the vulnerabilities in this particular one. So the remediation steps he will give you. Select the vulnerability to view its details and exploit the remediation. It clearly says. So you can see what are all the vulnerabilities here. So it is saying that critical, scan the image, critical. So look at what are all the vulnerabilities for this. One by one you can see. So this IP package before version and Node.js has vulnerability that allows server-side request forgery. So like these, it will give you what are all the vulnerabilities that it has, this image has. It gives you the complete details of this. So once you enable that, see, you have to enable your data protection on that, CWP. Once it is enabled, the time you are like say, pumping the images, that means you are pushing the images, automatically it will give you the complete scan and it will do the vulnerability. Like this, in the Azure DevOps, I have the code. At the code level, it will do the scanning. At the build level, it will do the scanning. At the pipeline level, it will do the scanning. And once it is deployed to the Kubernetes, at the Kubernetes level, it will do the scanning. So this is the way we just like used some image, some base image, and we created our own image. And it says that the base image that you have, the base image which you used has all these vulnerabilities actually. So this is basically the advantage of any CNAPP solution. That is, I don't require to leave this particular screen, guys. Everything you can do it at one place. That is the main benefit of this CNAPP solution. So like this, you can configure and you can try to inject some of the sources and you try. So I'll be sharing in the, my team will share right, the supporting documents and this complete the lab environments which I'm using. So you can try all these things and get a complete, it is end-to-end features of your the Defender for Cloud CNAPP solution. Able to understand, guys? Yes or no?
I think we can open up for questions as well.
Yes, you can go ahead now.
Yes. Anyone with a question?
Hi, this is Dr. Litin. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Litin.
Yeah, so actually I need to know what is OPEX, operational expense of CNAAP.
You are saying OPEX?
Yeah.
No, because it's basically kind of a SaaS service. So this is basically the licensing cost is the only OPEX part. Licensing cost. Understand? So you have different, means if I'm talking about specially for the Defender for Cloud, and for each feature you have like say different types of plans available. We need to purchase the plan, and not only that, whatever the list I specified here, look at this one. See, these are all the some of the CNAPP solutions that are available, and all these things are.
Prof, your screen is not shared.
Sharing something?
One second. See, these are all the competitive products which I specified. All these are all the SaaS services. So your OPEX will be basically the subscriptions, right? Depending upon what features, every product has set of plans and you have to purchase those plans. Only this part is what is your actual OPEX of this. Understand?
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Yeah, and one more thing. So you're in the Gartner's chart, we can show that, right? It's a Aqua Trivi is the one of the product of Aqua.
Which one?
Aqua is a Trivi.
Aqua Security is one of the product.
Okay, so I have implemented Trivi, like it's a product of Aqua, I think.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
so
Aqua Security, you have the CNAPP solution from Aqua Security.
Okay. So it is a so it have the products like Trivi also. So image scanner, right?
Correct. That's only a single product. Trivi is a single product, but Aqua has a full-fledged CNAPP solution. You can buy that CNAPP. Okay.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
If you have the solution descriptions of these platforms, maybe a comparative report or something like that, it will be really helpful for us to.
That is basically like, I can
we
understand that.
We can co-write, Dr. Libin, if you are interested.
That's what I'm saying. We already evaluated all these platforms and we prepared a matrix actually. So which CNAPP, like, see, this is what I told you, na? This is actually based on that only. See, this report is already available. Understand? This report, yes, we have the complete security matrix in terms of complete CNAPP components. Based on each CNAPP components, under each CNAPP component, what are all the features that we are looking at each product and which product provides what features and what are all the additional products. We have a very big, like say, matrix, and based on that only created this particular the chart actually. Understand?
Mm-hmm. Understood.
Professor Murugan this side.
Yes, Murugan.
Thanks for the things. See, my question is, whose baby it is a CNAPP in an organization? Because an IT organization has a development
It's a part of the
team.
cyber security.
See, but a development team is totally different actually. See, like you said, left shift. Okay, so development teams, I would have outsourced my development to a third party. So in that case, whose baby it is CNAPP? Do you have any experience?
It's a good question actually. It's a good question. See, it is something like this. Let us take an example. Your organization, you have the CNAPP implemented, right? So the first thing is, once it comes to the production, you are the kind of owner for that product. So your CNAPP solution is only at what you call it as in the runtime part. Understand? So whatever, let them use. See, that means if you go here, look at this. I was showing you this chart, right? This part, that means to whichever company you outsourced the development, they will be using the CNAPP part of this. How they implement this one, how they have done this workload protection in the complete DevOps lifecycle, you need not worry. So once it comes to this part, you are the owner of this and you have your CNAPP environment ready. And once the solution comes here, you will be finding in the runtime what is your security posture. Understand? So that is what you need to worry about. Right, whether they have taken care at the development level and all, it is up to them. Now you got a report and you say that, boss, these are all the vulnerabilities I'm finding at these layers. Understand? So can you just do it? So again, the cost will be thrown to the development company if they have not implemented any CNAPP practices at the development level. Understand, na?
Yeah, see, so in an organization, we have a cloud administration team, we have
Correct.
a cyber security team, and
Right.
we have outsourced the development actually.
Perfect.
So, and we have a separate budget for cyber security team, development team, and administration team.
No,
Okay.
development team, it is outsourced.
Yeah, it is outsourced actually.
Administration team, your admin department is taking care.
Cloud administration is part of the IT operation team.
Absolutely. And your CNAPP comes under cyber security.
There is a cyber security team. We have a separate budget which comes under the CIO.
Correct.
Okay. So now I am subscribing. Let us say for, I don't know what is the subscription model of CNAPP, varies from vendor to vendor. How the cost allocation and all those things also, I think something.
Absolutely. It is basic. The cost allocation means if you look at, okay, we call it as.
Finally, I had to give a ROI for this project actually.
Perfect. Okay. You have to give the ROI.
Yeah, in that angle, I was discussing,
very simple. Yeah.
How to speed the cost and then get the best benefit out of this.
Yes,
this is what I was also asking. What is the OPEX? What is the cost factor? Because the whole thing is bound to have a budget around it, correct?
Correct. So correct.
That is where this question comes from. Finally, it will come into the cost.
Yes, actually, I'm the project manager because I also very concerned about the budget because, you know, the getting the defender and enabling all features may be a cost factor for us actually. So we have to optimize this cost basically. So we need to know how much cost it will apply right here.
It is basically not optimized actually. I don't say like we do some kind of optimize. See, whatever the Murugan asked and okay, he asked OPEX part. So the OPEX, I thought it was just licensing cost. That's what I'm saying. But now what exactly Murugan asked is the chargeback. Understand? So for which department, right? For which division, how much is the cost actually? First of all, try to understand it's a DevOps culture. And the time you are bringing this culture into the organization, your DevOps practices are ready. See, now you are now you separately asked Murugan saying that we have cyber security. That yes, it will be there. But when it comes to the DevOps, I don't see the dev team and the ops team. We have an IT operations and we have a developers because we brought the DevOps culture and we have a DevOps team. Generally, the chargeback has to be to the DevOps team actually. See that part, that is the CWP part will be the charge it to the DevOps team. And when it comes to the cyber security, you will be going for CIEM and CSPM. The licensing cost, you have to put it under the cyber security team. Understand now?
Yeah, got it. Professor, another thing, it has two models. One is the agent-based model and the agentless-based model.
Yes, exactly.
Most of the time. So what is the exact, where I will get the maximum in the agent-based, or surely agent-based will give more data, more information? And what way it will be different?
It is not agent-based or agentless. It's not that concept, Murugan. So let me tell you one thing. See, agent-based, in many organizations, they don't prefer the agent-based solutions because on your production environments, I don't want any kind of some additional workload. I don't want any kind of some like so these what do you call it as agents running on the production servers. So we always prefer the agentless and point one. And point two, when you are talking about multi-cloud approaches, it is always the agentless only, not the agent-based. Understand now what I'm saying?
Yeah, got it, Professor. It's valid point.
And not only that, remember, it is a cloud environment. And mostly on the cloud environment, you don't require agents at all because it is always the REST endpoints you are going to query. Example, now it is scanning my container registry. My container registry is there on Azure, or my container registry can be on hub.docker.com, or it can be on QA, or it can be in ECR. Understand? And these are all basically the SaaS and PaaS services. Generally in the SaaS and PaaS services, there is no question of agents. Only, at least in the IaaS environments, you can push some agents. But in the SaaS and PaaS, we don't have the agents at all because we don't know where exactly the infrastructure is. So we always interact with the PaaS and the SaaS environments using only the REST endpoints, point one. And point two here, see, these are all like, I cannot means hub.docker.com, he exposed already the APIs. And ACR, Azure Container Registry, he exposed already the APIs. And not only that, remember, when I go for the cloud adoption framework or a well-architected framework, understand, or any kind of cloud migration, we always talk about SaaS first approach, or we always say that serverless approach. That means as much as possible, you architect your solution where it can leverage the serverless features of the cloud. And then if not, then only you think about the PaaS and the IaaS. So that is what we need to think about, cloud native. So the cloud native, you less talk about IaaS. Able to understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Professor. Suppose in the multi-cloud environment, do you have to have any specific administrative rights, anything for this CNAPP to go and scan it and get it?
No, this is what now you defined the connector now, right? It specified the roles. Only those roles are enough in that cloud. Understand?
Okay.
See, now I configured, right? The product is given by Azure, but we are trying to talk with the AWS now. And in that, they created some roles. Am I right? They're all the, what you call it as, they will have just-in-time access, or they will have like least privileges.
So
they will be having the list.
Access control list has to be.
Yes, that has to be provisioned. That will be given by the CNAPP tool, and it will ask you. See, always you remember this one point. See, you can take, this is your CNAPP solution, and this is your cloud. And we are defining a connector here. And obviously this connector is, this cloud is exposing the REST endpoints. So this connector is developed using the REST APIs only. Understand? And in the REST API, the first most important thing is the OAuth. And this OAuth is called as a delegated authorization. Delegated authorization. That means whenever the CNAPP is trying to access this, so because it is a delegated authorization, the first thing you will get is the consent form. You will be getting the consent form. So this consent form will have the permissions required. That means on behalf of you, the CNAPP will ask, I want these permissions on this cloud to configure it as a connector. You go through this consent form, that is set of permissions, then only you say yes. Able to understand?
Yeah, even the CNAPP solution also is in the cloud, correct?
Obviously, every CNAPP is a cloud-based solution. That's what I'm saying here.
No on-premises and everything.
No, this is again a SaaS solution only. This is again a SaaS. Understand?
Yeah. Thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
Rubia, you want to ask that question loud because on the same screen, Prof, this the features on CWPP, CSPM also have some of these features as per Rubia. Is it not redundant to add CNAPP into this? Rubia is there? Hello.
It's
She's
basically integration of tools actually, which for the past few years, the tools separatedly has come. Now they're defining it up as a platform and giving it up.
Yeah, see, if you remember, if I take my DevOps life cycle, at the SCM level, I'm using SonarQube. And for IAST, I'm using check marks. And for DAST, I'm using Veracode. Understand? Like that, we have different set of tools actually. But I don't want that actually. Understand? Again, I need to develop a complete security matrix to evaluate these tools also. So that is what we were doing in the DevSecOps. But now, an enhancement to the DevSecOps, a wrapper around the DevSecOps is nothing but CNAPP framework. Understand? Na?
Yeah, well said, Professor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rubia is not able to speak because that is not allowed. Can anyone enable her mic?
We just made her as presenter. I think the answer is already told. I think
Yes,
it is
yes, yes.
fine.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So
Eh,
I think since we are running out of time, are there any more questions, please?
Yeah, some more slides are there, man. You have to run through that.
Yes,
Either,
yes, yes.
yeah. Shall I open that or you share your screen?
Yeah. I can share, or it's a few slides only. So we are so glad that a lot of you stayed back for the whole presentation and the demo, and it's amazing to watch how Professor, in such short span, you actually integrated the whole 3 clouds, at least 2 clouds, and then built the CNAPP solution. It's amazing. So we from Reva University, we want to invite the ones who are attending these sessions. Some of them are our participants, but those who are new to us, we wanted to quickly share that we are an initiative within Reva University called Reva Academy for Corporate Excellence, which specializes in career transitioning programs for working professionals as well as organizations. So if any of you are looking for customized programs on cloud, AI, cybersecurity, and these kinds of projects, we would be happy to associate. And we could see, say, some of your seniors who have attended and were asking questions. And if you are looking for some more deeper solutions, please do connect with us. And if you could go to the next slide, Prof. I think that's our last slide. And those who are looking for actually getting into more detailed understanding in a practical scenario, you may also look at masters in cloud architecture and security, where this and more is covered. So we would look at individual cloud, both AWS and Azure, architecting, operating, and administering in all those 2 clouds plus security. So this is how the last program is being defined. And Professor Rao is one of our very senior mentor and solutionist who has been guiding us in this program. So we have a new batch starting. So we are looking forward to those who are interested to know more. And in this, the speciality of these programs is that there are inbuilt capstone projects involved. So if you want to develop a CNAPP solution with the help of a mentor, you could look at taking that as your project and developing this as a solution, which I am sure is very futuristic, the need of the hour, as well as improve your resume scores overall, and get great potential for your own career transitions later. And those who are, I know there are directors in this call, and if you are looking for your team, please do connect with us. We would be happy to maybe customize a program for them, or some of them could join our master's programs. And these are sessions on weekends, and these are UGC and AICT approved programs. So we look forward to connecting with you more. And again, I think the last slide, Prof. The last slide is that if you have any queries, please connect with this number. And we are so glad, especially Professor Rao, thank you so much. It has been amazing to see how updated and futuristic that your teaching has been, right? Because we try to integrate multi-cloud, but very few are able to, from an academic perspective as well as on security perspective. I think what you have done is a unified platform covering multiple clouds and creating such simple solutions, because most of them looks like configurable very easily.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is easy to implement. And we could see the kind of coverage of policies, starting from NIST to PCI DSS, and anything related to the cloud is so easy to implement through this. So I hope everyone enjoyed the session. As Professor Rao mentioned, his GitHub and this deck, and those who have registered will also get a certification at the end of this program. So please do stay connected with us to know more. We have a next session coming on, something around AI on AWS. That is also going to be very interesting. Okay. So please do connect with us. And Professor Rao, thank you so much. And everyone in this group. I know Sunday being 1:30 now. I know it has been a good decision, I hope, that you have taken today to attend this session. So on behalf of everyone from Reva University and RACE, thank you and keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.